Hi everyone. Good morning and good evening. Um, I'm Nargees, and we are here to present today Mom Relaunch internal project, which is NPSP. And in here we are going to talk about how we did the cleaning and importing the data. So I'm here with Jyoti, Tina, and my Jyoti and Tina. So in coming up slides, we'll be talking about it. So next slide, please, Jyoti. That's good. Yeah. So in coming up slides, we are going to talk about project overview, tasks, achievements, and what impacts and benefits we got out of this project, and challenges and solutions, what we face, and new learnings and best practices we have. So in our last slide, we'll be having our question and answers open up for everyone, and we'll try to do our best. So next slide, please, Jyoti. So in this project overview, in this presentation, we will understand what exactly is NPSP, which is generally stands for Non-Profit Success Pack. It is generally a managed package developed by Salesforce, and it's for enterprise edition. We're going to talk about next in coming up slides, how to import data, to import using import wizard, success and achievements, what we have, impact and benefits to the end users, challenges, what we face when cleaning the data and importing the data, learn very efficient way of maintaining the documents. So we'll be discussing all this in coming up slides, and from here, Jyoti is going to take the slides. Jyoti, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Nargees. So this is the task slide, and I'll explain like how do we import the data through import wizard. So this slide, this basically deals with the task which is performed before uploading the data through import wizard. Data importing is a very crucial part in any Salesforce implementation, and without it, users will quickly start encountering problems. So we have to be very careful while importing it. So here we are trying, just to explain in few words, here we are trying to import data of registered attendees who attended a Power Hour session in one of our speakers in MR. So the very first step is to clean the attendee data, which we collect from the Eventbrite source and format it prior to import. So for the cleaning data, we look for any like duplicate records, any blank, any empty spaces, rearranging the column heads to match the field in the Salesforce. In MR here, we use Excel for cleaning data. The second step which we follow is to make sure the file is in CSV format, which is the short form of for comma separated value. Once the above steps are taken, here we log into Salesforce and import the data through import wizard. The standard object here we select is the leads. We are adding new records for this case, and here we match the leads by email rather than by name. After this, the CSV file is uploaded into wizard. The third step which we take is to check for any unmapped fields which we have, which we are trying to import the data. So in case a file is unmapped, we map the field with available ones in the Salesforce object. And in our next slide, we have captured the successful import of records of one of our speakers, Sarah McDonald, into Salesforce in the lead object. Please have a look, and I'll just play the video for a short while. It's just a minute video. You can just take a look on that one. Here it is. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if you just saw the video, it was the steps which I explained it in earlier slides. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Jyoti,
Yes, sir.
we can
Yeah,
see.
you can see the achievement slide, yeah? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. So that was how we import the data basically through import wizard into our Salesforce org. So with this, I'm on to the achievement slides. So here we were able to import data using import wizard into leads, and the members, the campaign members and the leads are identified. We were able to send an email in the MR format along with a thank you note to the registered members. The email has the Zoom link attached of the presentation. So for just in case the members they somehow missed the presentation, then they can just take a look at it once again. And that's all what we have in the achievement slides. And from here, I'll just hand it over to Tina. She will take the next slide. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. So the
Hello.
slide before that, Jyoti, a slide before that. So I'll be talking about the impact and benefits of this task. What it does is the end users were able to receive the emails with the video of the recording. So if they missed, even though they might have registered on Eventbrite, but they could not attend the session for any reason, then they would be able to go through the recording, or even if there was something that they might have really liked and they might have forgotten to note down anything related to that topic, they can go through the recording. So this was one of the tasks that we were given, that we should be able to send out the email with the recording. So we had to create the email templates and all that for that. And then in case, as I said, in case they did not attend the session, they are able to watch it later. And they also get to know more about our Mom Relaunch program. So the reason behind having the power hours and inviting guests from outside is so that they can be our allies. They can come help us, help the moms here in the project with whatever expertise they have in their respective field. It could be anything related with Salesforce, or the expertise related to reviewing our resumes, upskilling us and stuff like that. Next slide, please. So every project faces its own unique set of challenges, and ours wasn't one without it. So today I'll be going to explore some of the NPSP project challenges that we faced, and then how we overcame those challenges. So the first thing was, when we began this project, we had to have several attempts to clean the data so that it would get imported successfully. We were using a template from a Salesforce, and based on that, we were adjusting it according to the fields that we needed in our object. So that was the first thing. In that one, we realized that the event type, if we separate the fields into a subtype, then the data was being imported successfully. So the event type was Mom Relaunch Power Hour or Mom Relaunch Book Club. We have two parent campaigns. One's a Power Hour and the other is a book club. So any speakers who talk about their books, who, like we had Jodie Herberg when she was here and she spoke about her book. So when we have a session like that, that falls under the Mom Relaunch Book Club campaign. And underneath the book club, which is the parent campaign, we would have the child campaign, which would be under the name of that respective speaker. So we were dividing that event type into two categories. So the first would be Mom Relaunch Power Hour or Mom Relaunch Book Club. And then the subtype would be the name of the speaker. So when we were doing this way, it was letting us successfully import the data. And the second challenge that we had was when we were importing the data in the leads object. And when you see, it would show you all the leads together, the new and the old. So then we we had to move. We are not doing any conversion in this org. So we had to move the leads to the respective campaign. And in order to do that, we weren't sure which leads were imported today. So then we realized that creating a list view with a name today, and then inside the list view having a filter, the filter based on the field created date. So the created date would be the field of that filter, and then the value for that created date would be today. So any leads that were created on today's date, I just need those leads. So based on that, once we have those leads, we were selecting all those leads, and then comes our third challenge. Now, how do we move them into that respective trial campaign? So on top, when you're in the leads, you will see that there is a tab that shows add to campaign. So you select those leads, and then you go to click on the top right side where you see add to campaign. So you select the name of, you'll have like a lookup, like a pop-up, and it'll show you which campaign. So you would select the member. So we would have to create the respective child campaign as well. And then that way it will populate the name of the child campaign. We would select that, and all those leads that we imported today would move into that respective child campaign. So that's how we tackle all the three challenges. Now we'll go to the next slide, please. What did we gain through this NPSP project? First and foremost was we got really familiar with the data import wizard. So the cleaning of the data, how to import the data, what to look for and stuff like that. It really familiarized us with that. And the other thing is the documentation. So whenever we receive any requirements from a stakeholder, the first and the foremost thing that we have to do is we know that it needs to go into the BRD. The proper numbering system has to be done. We punch in all those requirements in the task management, where based on that requirement that we are currently working on is what we would put in our task management. And then there we would allocate where, at what stage in that requirement are we? Are we in the designing phase stage? Are we in the developing stage of that requirement? Are we in the UAT part of it? Or are we done? Is the deployment done? Is it complete? Did we face any more challenge? And we would use that challenge as a new task underneath it. And then we would put it down that, okay, the requirement was done, but it has some bugs. So we are reworking on it. And then the time management, since most of the members here are juggling multiple projects. So and the NPSP only meets 2 hours a week. So what happens is sometimes those 2 hours are not enough when we have an urgent requirement where we have to have the data in. We have to make sure that the emails are also sent out prior to the upcoming Friday before we have our next session. So we have to manage our time in such a way that it does not hinder any client projects of ours, since some of the members are the repetitive project resources. And then the communication. It helps us build our communication as well. When we are working with one another, we are working independently as well. And then we are working as a group as well. So anytime when we are working on a requirement independently and we come up to a solution, it gives us the opportunity to show the rest of the team members how we came about to that solution. And then that way, when we explain it to them, it further expands our knowledge and it builds us that confidence as well. Next slide, please. Okay, we are almost at the end of our project showcasing now. From here, I would like to leave it to the floor. If there are any questions, please feel free to address them and we'll try to answer them to the best of our knowledge. Thank you.
So it was a good presentation. Just I want to know, like, Have you done any implementation as well, or like you have just researched this data import thing?
We have done implementation in production as well.
Okay. Yeah, so other than that, I think if they have done it already, so it is great. No questions other than this.
Otherwise, how
Tina,
did you find the presentation by our members?
Yeah, it was good. Like it was informative. Every aspect was covered. So one thing you can add like data import wizard. So you can just research data loader as well. So we have
Yeah.
some patients with data import wizard. So in that case, you can use data loader. So it is
Yes,
like,
Sanjay. So we have started like now we have already uploaded many datas with import wizard. So now the last data which we imported into production that we did through data loader. So now we have started working on data loader too.
learning, yeah.
okay, great.
I do have a question, Sanjay, sir, for you.
Mm.
So we are doing it this way and it's working fine for us. But just this Friday, when I was reading through the NPSP data import, I realized that Salesforce mentions about using the custom object, NPSP data import custom object, and then doing like a dry run and then validating it and then importing it. And once the data is imported, it moves it into the respective standard object that we might have selected or the custom object. And from there, we can delete the records that were imported in the NPSP data import custom object so as to save the storage. And it helps in case when we have multiple spreadsheets which cover multiple objects. At that time, it really helps that out. So the question that I had was, we are doing it this way and it's working for us. Does it matter? Or should we follow the other way, the Salesforce way?
Yeah, so if you want to follow the best practice, then for sure you need to follow the Salesforce way. So maybe you can read the documentation of NPSP, like how they are doing. So you can try this for one object, and if it goes smooth, so you can do it for other objects as well. And I think in NPSP, like we integrate Salesforce with other systems as well. So that object we use for that purpose as well. Like if we are creating any opportunity like donation, so that will be stored there, and then we can migrate data into respective objects. So first you need to understand like how exactly it works, and then you can start using it.